Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. This one coming to you from my favorite Mexican restaurant in the Tennessee Valley. Really, it's my favorite Mexican restaurant pretty much anywhere. I mean, I've never been to Mexico, so I don't know what their Mexican restaurants are like. But I tell you what, I've never been in have I been to New Mexico? I have been to New Mexico. I've never been to Mexico, but I have been to New Mexico. But I'll tell you what, Corralejos, right over here behind Westminster Christian Academy, Westminster Church, and all of the building that is going on over here. I was here not that long ago, and all of a sudden I'm getting off the exit and by Westminster, and there's another massive, just huge apartment complex going up. Housing development. I mean, it I don't know how many. It might be 500 units or something. It looks spectacular. It looks beautiful. It's just this area is just blowing up like crazy. Old Monrovia Road in the Publix Plaza at the corner of John's and Old Monrovia Road is where we are at, and you are certainly welcome to come on by, say hello. I even have an extra mic set up here if you want to slip on by. I think that the Junkyard Babe is coming by for lunch a little bit later on. Maybe Captain Cool will be with her. I'm not sure. But you can certainly come on down and join us here. Now, tomorrow you're going to be able to jump on a $50 voucher for Corralejos for just $25 on zone deals. And I'm going to tell you right now, these deals move fast. I mean, they go fast. You guys get on them, and we're grateful that we can offer you this opportunity on all of our great restaurants that are in zone deals. Including Corralejos, and they love the advertising, and we love the partnership with them, but they move fast, okay? So you better be ready to jump on this deal first thing in the morning. Now, I'd like to tell you about all the exotic stuff that I have at Corralejos, but every time I come in here, I look at the menu, I look over all of the different things, and I get a chicken quesadilla because it's the best chicken quesadilla anywhere. I mean, the shell, the burrito, whatever you call it, the shredded chicken, the cheese, it's the best anywhere. And I can almost guarantee that when the Junkyard Babe gets here, that she will end up having a shrimp quesadilla. All right, so I think that will probably happen, but it is tremendous here at Corralejos. Now, as much as I want to say that the big story today is opening day in Major League Baseball, it's really not. I mean, it's a story, but it's not the story, since the Sweet 16 gets going tonight with some really salty games. There are 2 games in Boston, including the 1 seed UConn on the court, and 2 games in L.A., Clemson and Arizona, plus the game that most of us are interested in, Alabama and North Carolina in a 1v4 matchup. I am a little bit flummoxed because the 2 games that are in Boston are the UConn-San Diego game and the Illinois-Iowa State game. And then the 2 games in L.A. are the North Carolina-Alabama game and the Clemson-Arizona game. I don't understand why the Illinois-Iowa State game is starting at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Now, I may be lying. I guess I probably should double-check the actual schedule itself. I just assumed that the 2 games in Boston would be a little bit earlier, and wouldn't the 2 games out west in L.A. be the later games? I mean, what am I missing here? The Alabama game will start about 8:39 Central Time. Okay, and, of course, we'll have complete coverage of that game. Of course, with all of the games, we'll have complete coverage, but complete coverage with the Alabama game beginning with the pregame at 7:39. But having said that, 8:39 our time is 6:39 in L.A. So that game is at 6:39 Los Angeles time. The Illinois-Iowa State game, if it's 10 o'clock Eastern time, then it's 10 o'clock Eastern time. Local time in Boston. So we just have to double-check that. I'll put the correct research team on that and see exactly the schedule for these games. But you got 2 1 seeds going tonight, UConn and North Carolina. And, look, Alabama, they're trying to get their second all-time Sweet 16 win. They're 1-9. In the previous 10 shots in the Sweet 16, they're 1-9 getting to the Elite Eight. The only time they got there was 2004. I was here in town for about a week, and that team was not a great team. That was a team that was 8-8 in the SEC. That's a team that was 20-13 during the regular season. They were an 8 seed in the tournament. They opened by beating the 9 seed Southern Illinois. They were in the West region, just like they are now. Then they took out number 1 seed Stanford. They took out the 1 seed in the West region, Stanford, to get to the Sweet 16. In the Sweet 16, they beat the number 5 team, Syracuse, my Syracuse Orangemen. They beat the Qs, and then they ran into number 7 seeded UConn in the West regional final. UConn won that game 87-71. During the 8A game. It was during the 8A game, and they went on to win the Natty. I know it was during the 8A game because I was at the 8A game broadcasting a special remote before the 8A game, which we carried on the station that I was at the time. I don't want to mention the station. It rhymes with dump. And I was there, and we carried the 8A game instead of the game against UConn in the Elite Eight. We kicked the game in the Elite Eight. We kicked that over to a sister station, and I'm like, "It's an Elite Eight game. It's a West Regional Final." And like, yeah, 8A. This is pre-Saban. This is Mike Shula's 8A game. I'm like, okay, however that works, I'm good with that. UConn, by the way, went on to win the Natty that year. All right, after winning that game against Alabama, UConn beat Alabama by 16, 87-71, and then went on to win the national championship game. Now, North Carolina, on the other hand, is 22-8 in the Sweet 16. And if they win, the 23 wins would be the most in history, college basketball history, breaking the tie with Kentucky. Right now, North Carolina and Kentucky have won 22 Sweet 16 games. So this is truly a mismatch of history on paper. I mean, you got one team in Alabama that's won 1 Sweet 16 game, and then you got another team in North Carolina that's won the most at 22 and looking to break a tie with Kentucky. You know what, though? They're not going to play the game on paper. They're still going to play the game. ESPN Analytics has the game at 50-50, while Vegas has Carolina as a 3.5 to 4-point favorite in the game. Now, coming up in a few minutes, Steve Merril is back from WagerTalk TV to give us his take on the games from a handicapping standpoint. And do we have an issue with the athletes and legalized sports gambling? Look, does anyone believe Shohei Ohtani? And that he had no idea what was going on with his buddy and paying off the $4.5 million in gambling debt? Look, if Grizz had racked up $4.5 million in gambling debt, and he said to me, hey, dog, wait a minute. Let me rephrase. If Grizz had racked up $45 in gambling debt, and he said, hey, dog, can you pay my gambling bet? And I paid his gambling bet, I would know that I paid his gambling bet. You know what I'm saying? I would have to deal with it. And this was an illegal book. It wasn't an illegal book. It was an illegal book. You know what I mean? how Shohei Ohtani is skating on – well, we don't know if he's going to skate. I'll be totally honest with you, though. I can't believe the dude is playing until they sort it all out. I mean, this is Major League Baseball. This is the people that banned Pete Rose, who is a scumbag, belongs in the Hall of Fame, but he's a scumbag. This is the people that banned Pete Rose for life for associating with gamblers and betting, and there was never any evidence he bet against his team. There's no evidence that Shohei Ohtani bet at all on baseball. But just the appearance here, the appearance of evil, as we call it in the church, just the appearance here. Somehow Shohei Ohtani's account paid an illegal book $4.5 million. Do you think maybe somebody would say, how about you step aside for a minute until we sort this all out? Can they do that? Well, they won't. And then there's the Jonte Porter story out of Toronto. We didn't even touch on that. Jonte Porter, where there were huge bets on the under for his game props. I mean, the guy's a backup center. I didn't even know they had game props for a backup center. I mean, who? And then somebody bets $10,000 on the under 5.5 points for the backup sender, the under 3 assists, the under 3 attempts at 3-point attempts, and then he goes out with quote unquote flu-like symptoms and doesn't play the rest of the game, and they got to pay it off. It was like the biggest bet of the night, which Jonte Porter under 5.5 points. Now, you could say that with legalized sports betting, we now have regulation so that we can find this kind of stuff. Because there were things that went on. I mean, I'm sure there was always shady things that went on in the past. I'm just going to say, people have mentioned to me that there's always been shady things that have gone on in the past. And now with it being legalized, there are, people are watching everything. I mean, ask Brad Bohannon about that. They're watching everything. A bet comes in on an Alabama LSU baseball game for more than, $500. People are saying, hey, wait a minute. A bet comes in on Jonte Porter to score less than 5.5 points, and the bet's for $10,000 or whatever. Somebody's going to say, wait a minute. Stop that. That's called a prop bet, a proposition bet. So now the NCAA, through the president, Charlie Baker, he wants prop bets banned altogether in college sports. He says that the kids are getting harassed by professional bettors over them. That, you got a game going on, and there's a prop bet on whether or not the kid's going to make, 4 3-pointers, and a guy sitting at the game is yelling at the kid because the kid's not trying enough 3-pointers to make 4 3-pointers. And they're yelling at him because the guy's got $500 on a prop bet. Now, with sports betting being so widespread now, you have to wonder about whether the flow of inside information has become a cottage industry of its own. Look, if I were to tell you that I have in the past gotten phone calls from sports books, or from not sports books, but sports bettors and handicappers that have asked me if I knew anything about a certain situation because they think that, whether I'm covering whatever team, I don't even want to mention teams. Over my career, I've covered professional teams, I've covered every sport, and I've covered college teams. And so handicappers at times, not unmentioned. These are not the only two handicappers I deal with, Lee Sterling and Steve Merril, but there have been guys over the years that have said, hey, what do you know about this at practice? I heard this guy is injured, or I heard this guy's limping, or blah, blah, blah. Do you think now, with it being legalized, that there's even more of this kind of information, insider information being traded, which is, I believe, illegal? I don't know. And what I really wonder is, with legal sports betting, are there really many more people now betting on sports? Or is it the same population just doing it openly now? In other words, if they pass the law in Alabama, let's say, or if you're listening in a state that already has it, did you start betting because it became legal? Or were you a sports bettor before, and instead of betting with Billy down at the corner grocery or with an offshore book, you just went to FanDuel or MGM or whatever is legal if you're listening over the state line into Tennessee or over into Mississippi or over into Georgia? And if Alabama passes the law, okay, I'm gonna start betting on sports. Be interesting. Be interesting to know. I'd love to hear from somebody that said, if they make it legal, I will start betting. I'll bet on the games, $20 here, $50 there. I'll do it. Also on the show today, Kevin McAplin, coming up at 1 o'clock, since there is no Braves game today. It is opening day in baseball, but not for the Braves and the Phillies because it's miserable up there. They will open tomorrow. You'll hear that game right here immediately after the Thom Abraham show. I'll do the Thom Abraham show tomorrow, Football Friday show, and then I will head directly to UAH to do the UAH basketball game at 4 o'clock over on Zone 2. And while I'm doing that, here on the air, you'll hear the Braves and the Phillies. Kevin McAplin from the Braves Radio Network is coming up at the top of the hour. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. You can text the show at any time, 24/7, at 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show on the X feed, or you can watch it on our YouTube channel at WZZN TV. You can find a link to that from our Facebook page at 97.7 ESPN. And when you get there, like and subscribe on YouTube and get notifications. All right? But we are live, even though we are out here at Corralejos. Hello to everybody that is watching on the TV. I'm in my normal corner booth here, and you can watch the show there as well. You can also watch the replay of it later on. There are many, many different ways to consume the show now. You need to get the app for 97.7 ESPN The Zone, because there you're going to find the links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5, so you get all our other great programming. You get Huntsville Havoc Hockey on Zone 5. You're going to get some UAH baseball on Zone 2. You're going to get UAH softball on Zone 3. All right? All our alternate streaming channels. And while you're at it, get the Talk Radio WZZN app as well. For example, this weekend, Alabama baseball will be over on Talk Radio WZZN. You'll find that over the air at 97.7-2, but you can also find it on the app. It's got its own app, all right? It's just download the app for Talk Radio WZZN from your app store, and you've got room on your phone, okay? I've seen all your phones. You've got room on your phone. And put it right next to, do that little thing where they shake the apps, they go, and the app starts shaking, and then put your finger on it and slide it over right next to the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. So you got the two apps right there, and you can just bounce around, and it's a beautiful thing for more great action. All right, the guy over there playing the play doesn't matter in the stacks of wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air. And as far as I know, the only betting he does is on this show when we do, beat the big dog on Thursdays during the season. And that's why we call him Grizz the Greek.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
Jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
All right, so Grizz, let me ask you. Other than picking games here on the show, do you ever, throw a $20 bill on a game? Do you ever bet a game outside of, maybe with your buddies or whatever?
Nah, I've never done it. I'm too afraid.
Afraid?
Yeah, Too afraid and like, God, I'm too poor.
Well, okay, but I mean, you go to a movie once in a while, don't you? I mean, you spend a little money somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something that I like. Yeah, something I like to do. Gambling is not something I like to do because it's like I've always been afraid of like where it could lead me. It's just an addiction, so it
Well,
so
no, you can become addicted to it, but it's not. It's not
can get
an
addicted
addiction.
to it. I mean, but you can get addicted. I mean, it is an addiction. Yeah, you can
drink
get
a beer,
to
don't
it.
you? Don't you drink a beer once in a while?
Yeah, but I don't drink to get drunk, and I don't drink to be cool. So.
Right, you enjoy a beer once in a while.
Yeah, but I don't ever excessively do it. It doesn't make me feel that I need to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like gambling. I've been to casinos. I've done it a couple times. You know what I mean? Like it's like I just don't like it. I guess I just don't like the feel of it. I don't mind it. It just that side
and
of it's a little shady.
That's a fair assessment. So the question is, so it sounds like that you don't care whether it's legal or not.
No.
If it was legal here. You would still you wouldn't do it anyway if it was legal in Alabama.
Like there's some that I've wanted to do, like some of these these prop bets. They've been kind of interesting to kind of maybe throw.
See, those are the ones that are scary to me. That's what's addictive.
Yeah.
To me, the in-game betting and the prop betting.
Yeah.
If you're betting whether or not John Tate Porter is going to have under 5.5 points, you got a problem. You need to go to the 1-800. I got a problem. Whatever that website is for the gamblers. That's a problem. To me. The games and the totals are the things that you can kind of rely on a little bit. You know what I mean? The game total and the total itself, whether or not you think Alabama is going to cover the 4.5 tonight, stay within 4.5 of North Carolina, for example. That's something. But if you want me to tell you to bet on how many three-pointers that Alabama's going to jack up, I do not like props. I am not a prop guy.
It's like a Grant Nelson. How many points tonight? over under 12.5 or whatever. It's like I would take the under. You know what I mean? Because he just hasn't been there. But that's the kind of thing that I would be more inclined to do because I feel like I like when I see one of my buddies will show me like where they do like they have to make like all the different prop bets or whatever, and they have to get all of them to get however money that they've bet or whatever.
That's a parlay.
Yeah, they have to get all of that.
Put them in a parlay.
Yeah. So I like when they put them into a parlay and put it that way and do it that way. And then just kind of see if they can bank on that rather than just picking a few and trying to make some money off of just like one prop bet or something like that.
Yeah. That's interesting that you think that way. Have you ever been inclined or thought about, if it were legal, that, everybody else is betting on a Super Bowl. I want to put a $20 bill on a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, there's always been times I've thought about that, and when it is legal, I probably will. It's just one of those things where I'm always like hesitant on stuff like that. That's all. Mm-hmm. It's just I'm always kind of I'm a saver, so I like to hold on to my money. So it's like if I want to spend something, then I'll do it.
Well, remember, I mean, you have a chance to win too.
I mean, I do.
Let me ask you this now.
Trust
this
me.
is interesting, and I'm not passing judgment either way because I totally respect either side of it. Let me ask you this though. Do you invest at all in the stock market?
Yes, I do have a little bit of money invested, yes.
It's gambling, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so similar. In a way, it's gambling.
Yeah.
I sit there and I look at my, now, and handicappers, are like stock advisors. So all a stock advisor is, all a handicapper is a stock advisor. Do you think I have a decent chunk of change in the market?
Yeah.
Do you think I make these decisions on my own? No. I talk to a stock advisor. I talk to somebody that's an investment advisor. I happen to know one very, very well that is very close to me that handles, that does tremendously well. So I talk to my stock advisor and investment advisor. And, and I say, what do you think? And then he says, take a look at this. No guarantees. Could lose money, could gain money. You don't know. I was in crypto for a long time. I finally got out. I had bought Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency. I had bought it at like $2,200, and it went all the way down to $1,400. And I sat there and waited because you don't lose money until you lose money, until you sell it. And I waited, and then all of a sudden it took off again, and it went up to $4,000 about a month ago. It got up to $4,000. I sold it. So I made a profit. I made an $1,800 profit on the on the cryptocurrency, and but that's kind of betting. In a way, that's gambling, right? Investing like that is kind of gambling. So it and then who really is gambling is your day traders. Those guys that are trading like every day, they sit there That's like doing in-game sports betting.
Yeah.
They're day traders, totally legal, but they sit there and they're in and out of the market, buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling and buying, futures and puts and, all that other kind of stuff. They are, they're good at what they do. If they're good at what they do, you can make a lot of money at it. But so whether you're investing in the market or whether you're investing in sports betting, what I'm curious about, though, is if people who are not sports bettors now are going to become sports bettors when it becomes legal in your state. Or if you are in a state that it became legal in, did you all of a sudden start betting on sports because it was legal? I don't know that we have a huge new population of new bettors.
Yeah.
I just don't know that.
I will say this. I did see something on ESPN. It was like one of those those E60 things that they do or whatever. And they were talking about the rise in like younger generations, obviously, getting in sports betting and it's like, well, you're basically just telling on yourself because you have ESPN Bet and you're partnered with Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy and all these fantasy apps that, these guys are going and doing and these younger generation guys are doing and they're having gambling problems. I mean, but I don't know if it's like a rise in gambling.
Again, though, the issue of people getting addicted to gambling, it's extremely low. I mean, we're talking about less than 1%.
It's just funny how
but it happens in what I mean. We sell beer. You can't watch a game without seeing a beer commercial, and nobody and then it's a drink responsibly. Well, it's the same thing. In fact, if anything, it's become much safer where it's legal because you have to deposit first, and you're not betting on a margin. Where it used to be, Billy down at the corner bar, he'd give you a $500 margin. You'd lose the money, and now you got to come up with the $500.
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to use one of these apps, you got to put $500 in first, and then you're betting the money that you put in there. So it's a little bit different. All right, I know there are a couple of guys on the line. Guys, hang in there. I do want to talk to you, but I already went overtime right off the bat, so I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Steve Merril of Pro Sports Info and WagerTalk TV. We'll talk to him next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Man, I appreciate what you guys do. I know credit got Drew, Talkin' Ball 7 until 9 on my show when I feature Drew, and certainly have a great relationship with Wes and Steve and Thom and all you guys, man. It's always fun to hang out with you with media days, different bowl events, but I always appreciate the partnership. I almost feel like we're sister stations with 97.7 The Zone, the only sports station in the Rockets. And thank you so much.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Situated downtown on Clinton Avenue, you'll find the Church Street family's take on delicious seafood and more. Sea Salt. At Sea Salt, the food speaks for itself. Fresh oysters, shrimp and lobster, and non-seafood fare. Plus a large selection of wines, regional and local beers on tap, and a full bar. Catch the downtown vibe with Sea Salt's unique outdoor city street and patio seating with a view of Jesse Andrews' mural, bringing an underwater world to life. No reservations necessary. Sea Salt, 114 Clinton Avenue.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Not a bad afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're looking at plenty of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the mid. Some of us could see the upper 60s. We're dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine on Friday afternoon. Temperatures consistently climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're going to continue the trend of beautiful weather as we head into Saturday. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s. A partly sunny sky for your Easter Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. It is the Throwback Thursday. That's our theme music today. We're going all Mexican. There'll be some Carlos Santana in there. If we don't get Santana in there once each hour, I'll be stunned. Well, we're going with Mexican music because we are here at Corralejos Mexican Grill. And it is outstanding in the Publix plazas where you'll find it at Old Monrovia and John's. Come on by, say hello, and enjoy some of the best Mexican food you ever do want to eat. Very, very authentic here, very cool place, and you can check it out by coming down and saying hi. Remember, tomorrow on deals, Zone Deals tomorrow, you can buy Corralejos, you get a $50 gift certificate or voucher, I should say, for just 25 bones, and you can buy a couple of them, okay? So take advantage of that. But when I tell you it's the best in the Tennessee Valley, it's really the best Mexican restaurant I've been anywhere, and like I said, I've never been to Mexico. I've been to New Mexico, but I've never been to Mexico, but I can't imagine it's any better than this. All right, joining us now, a guy that really doesn't get any better than him at WagerTalk TV. He is Steve Merril, and he joins us now not only on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, but also on WZZN TV for those of you who are watching the show. Steve, welcome in. How are you?
Tom, doing well. I was going to say it's one of the best Thursdays in sports betting. We have the Sweet 16 starting tonight, but we have MLB opening day on the way right now. But then I realized the last 2 Thursdays are probably even better. We had the conference tournaments, the best day of the conference tournaments 2 Thursdays ago. And then last week is probably my favorite day in all of sports, is that first Thursday of the round of 64. So
yeah,
third straight Thursday in a row. It's pretty darn good in the sports betting world.
Yeah, and in the sports world, period, I have been very critical all week, and I've said this to my baseball people that have come on this week. I do not understand why baseball's starting today. I mean, who's the brainiac over there that says, you know what, let's start on the day the Sweet 16 starts? Because if we waited until Monday instead of, we're going to have, we're going to be consumed with the Sweet 16 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so nobody's paying attention really to baseball enough. But if we did it on Monday or Tuesday, we'd have the entire week to ourselves. We could have the whole week to ourselves because the Final Four doesn't begin until Saturday. I don't understand this and why baseball is starting on top of the Sweet 16.
And they used to always start next week. It used to always be April, right? And this Monday is April 1st, so it does seem early. I guess the logic is they want to get that extra weekend in. But once again, like you said, you're competing with the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, but then you're also competing with Easter Sunday. It makes even less of a reason this year to do it when Easter is on Sunday. I mean, I can't imagine that's going to help attendance any.
No. Although some people will go, if the weather's decent, this is the earliest Easter ever is, so there's that. And they're running at Richmond, I think, on Sunday, aren't they? I mean, they typically, back in the day, didn't they not run on, or was it just Mother's Day? Did they always run on Easter? I thought that we didn't run on Easter in the past.
No, I don't think they ever ran on Easter. I was shocked to see that. And Richmond's been getting earlier and earlier, and I haven't been up there for several years because of that. It was always the first Saturday night in May. It was always it was actually always the Kentucky Derby Saturday because we'd be tailgating all day, and then the race would be on before we go into the track on the TVs around the tailgates. So it would always be like Saturday, May 5th, much earlier this year. They've gone to the Sunday format, the daytime format. NASCAR's hurting, but they got to mix things up. Obviously, they've added more road courses. I'll tell you what, Tom, I barely focused on NASCAR this year. The betting markets are really tight. I don't find edges anymore, and it's unfortunate. I didn't think I'd be saying this 10, 15 years ago, but I don't really even follow it. It's on the back burner for me, and this weekend with Richmond being home on Easter made it kind of an easy no-go for me as well.
All right, let me I've got some general questions because I'm kind of fascinated by a few things that are going on in the sports betting world. But let's get out of the way first. UNC, Alabama, that's the one that everybody is concerned about here. We'll have that game on our air tonight, 8:39 Central Time for that one out of L.A. Alabama, the highest scoring team in college basketball, going up against a true blue blood in UNC. Alabama's 1-9 in Sweet 16 games. They've only won one, and that was back in 2004. On the other hand, UNC has won 22 of them, and they're tied with Kentucky for the most ever. So we're talking about two different things. ESPN Analytics have the game 50-50, and Vegas has had this thing around 3.5, 4.5 maybe, to, of course, North Carolina. What's your thought on this game tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I know we're going to kind of do quick hitter fashion on everything, but I do have a deep 15, 18-minute video on all four matchups for tonight on WagerTalk TV. I did a Fade the Public style for the Sweet 16, including all four games tonight. So check that out later this afternoon. Steve Merril, WagerTalk TV on YouTube. I mentioned in the video that the most public side as far as favorites go is UNC tonight. The public is on UNC, and I do think there's also some sharp money on UNC, and that's why we've seen the line go from 3.5 up to 4.5. It has started to hit 5 at what I consider some of the sharper books. That's why I say it's not just the public, but it's also the sharp bettors. Normally that's a red flag for me when everybody is on one side. But I do think the difference in this game most likely will be UNC's defensive edge. These are two very good offensive teams. Alabama is the better offensive team. Two teams that like to play fast, though. So North Carolina is going to be comfortable with the track meet. Obviously, the total tells us that. It's currently around 173.5, which is insane for a Sweet 16 game. But UNC is a much better defensive team. In fact, if you look at the efficiency rankings, they're the 6th best defense in the country. Alabama is currently at 101. They're by far the weakest defense in the Sweet 16. Illinois is actually in the 90s. And lo and behold, Illinois and Alabama, two of the best offensive teams. So, it's going to come down to can Alabama outscore them, but I think when the critical stops are needed, UNC has a huge edge.
So when you see with Alabama and how they played defensively against Grand Canyon, do you put that more on Grand Canyon? They were kind of a one-man show, or did Alabama, find religion and decide to play some defense in that game?
No, and I think that's a good point to bring up because not only do I think it was somewhat Grand Canyon not scoring, it really a mid-major team that was stepping up in class. And by the way, Grand Canyon's offensive efficiency this year, 71st, which is very good for a team in their league. But still not a national championship caliber team. And North Carolina is 17th offense. They're down a little bit, but they're still top 20. But let's look at the defensive efficiency for Grand Canyon. They're actually surprisingly a very good defensive team this year, and they've ranked in the top 40 most of the season. And I thought they somewhat slowed down and shut down Alabama. So there's two ways to look at that. And now Bama's facing UNC, number 6, who's as good as any defense they've seen all season. So I really think that's going to be the difference. And come down to crunch time, but then get covering by 4.5, 5 is a different story if it's tight. But I just see UNC pulling away in the second half. And I think the defensive edge is the key.
Steve Merril with us, WagerTalk TV. So you say you did this video, talk about all 4 games, but I want to make sure people understand that just because you're doing a video and you're giving an opinion on all 4 games, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are putting all 4 games out there to your clients. Is that correct? Or would you be giving them all of the games, or are you really going to just give them a pick on the one or two that you think are best?
Yes, what I do in the video is I basically let you know where the public is on the side in total in all 4 games tonight. I also let you know where I agree or disagree, kind of a lean on each game. But there was only one game tonight that was a strong best bet for my clients. It's backed by an 18-0 super situation, and that is available for all my clients. And you can get it tonight as well at WagerTalk.com. But once again, the video does have free information for all 4 games.
All right, it's good stuff there. Steve Merril with us. All right, so to baseball, let's start with this. Does anybody believe in Shohei Ohtani? I mean, it's $4.5 million. I mean, are you kidding me? I used the analogy earlier. If Grizz lost $45 and he needed to be covered, and I was the one that had to chip in to pay his $45 bet off, I would know that I paid $45 to an illegal bookmaker to take care of him. Are we to believe Shohei Ohtani here? Do you buy that?
No, I think, as always, there's probably a little bit of truth, a little bit of hyperbole, but the bottom line is I don't think he bet on baseball, hopefully, and if he didn't, it's probably not a huge deal. And once again, $4.5 million to him is like $40 to all of us in the grand scheme of things, even though it's a huge number. Wish he had gone to WagerTalk.com. He could have got my all-year all-access for $3 a day, and he would have made money. That's what's so comical to me about this whole thing is like you got to try pretty hard to lose $4.5 million, but hopefully he has.
You got to bet $80 million, don't you? Don't you have to bet about $80 million to lose $4.5 million? I mean, nobody loses all the time.
And, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and the thing is, he says he's never bet on any sports, which is it's a little dangerous because now we're getting into the issue that I agree with you. He's not betting on baseball, but he says that now maybe he didn't. Maybe this is 100% the interpreter. But when he says I've never bet on any sports. Now he's opening himself up. If they find anything out, and they are investigating, if they find anything out, now he's lying. And little lie is big lie.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, and I don't buy that for all. I think that is a lie. I mean, what's this? Yeah. You and I got to learn to interpret, man. You're making that kind of money. I don't buy that for a second because to lose $4.5 million, you got to have a net worth of hundreds of millions. Like you said, you're rolling over hundreds of millions of dollars in bets. So I don't buy that for a second, and that does bother me because I think he could have easily gotten out of this. Just said I didn't bet on baseball. I bet, on other sports. And look, he's the last guy baseball wants to throw under the rug. Now, the big story is the backup NBA guy for the Raptors, who does look like he kind of sat out early in games in which heavy, sharp money, or not sharp money, suspicious money came in on player props to the under on him. There is something there, and he's making a league minimum under $400,000. He didn't even get the full amount of that because he hasn't been in the league all year. Those are the guys they make examples of also because they don't care about him. They're not going to make an example of Shohei. They're not going to throw their star under the bus. He's too big to fail. And the best news for him is that there is some controversy in the NBA, which looks like it has some teeth and legs to it.
Yeah, there's that in a minute. By the way, those of you that saw me on WZZN TV making a hand motion, my wife and my son just came in to the restaurant and sat down. And my wife sits down with her back to me, and my son sits down facing me. So when I look over at their table, I got to look at him. Instead of looking at my wife, I got to look at him. I see the back of my wife's head, and I can't get them to switch seats. So there is that. You mentioned the the basketball thing, Jonte Porter. I mean, this story, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is under 5.5 on a prop bet, under 3 assists, whatever it is, 3 attempts at a 3-point shot, and somebody's betting $10,000 or something on the under. First of all, I didn't think you could bet that kind of money on a prop, right. and secondly, do we have a problem brewing here, or did this kind of stuff pop up every once in a while, and now thanks to regulation, we're able to kind of catch it?
Exactly right. And to be honest, we don't know if it's popped up in the past because we didn't have regulation. It's such an excellent point, and it's what I've preached, as you know, for decades on your show, that we need legalized sports betting worldwide because it is transparent. It provides transparency. And let's keep in mind, the last people on earth that want something like this happen, the sports books, because they don't know. They're the ones losing the money. Like you and I can talk about it, but we're not losing money because of it. The sports books are. They're the last people that want this. They want to put an end to it. And the leagues, of course, don't want it either because it ruins the integrity of the sport. And this is a little blip on the radar, but it's going to solve a problem going forward that wouldn't have been solved otherwise. And the sports books are to blame, first of all. They shouldn't be putting props up on junk players like this. And
I didn't even know you could get a prop on a backup center. I mean, how do you get a prop on some dude sitting at the end of the bench?
Tom, is you normally can't. And like you said, the best point you made is you can't bet 10,000 on these props. So what happened? You can bet 500 here, 500 there, maybe 1,000 somewhere. So they had to play probably 10, 15 locations. And that's why it's such a red flag. You're not going to get away with that. It's suspicious money. And then when a guy leaves early in games in which there's heavy suspicious money on his under props, it's a huge red flag, and it's not going to last long. And that's the beauty of legalized sports betting. But once again, the sports books don't want this any more than anyone else. And it's their fault if they're taking 500 or 1,000 on a backup center. So, that's easily solved, and it's something we probably will see change. But it goes back to a bigger point. The one thing that you probably have to be careful with is college basketball player props, because these guys aren't making money. In the NBA, most guys make too much for it to be worth, risking their career to make $500, $1,000. I've always said that. That's why fixing at the pro level really is not an issue. This is a rare example where it might be. But the college sports, you do have to worry. But then again, if it's going to happen in college, the offshore illegal sports books are going to still have props on these guys. Don't you want the regulated books having them as well so we can catch it? So no matter how you cut it, it's another argument for regulated sports betting legally, although a lot of people probably don't see it that way.
Well, NCAA President Charlie Baker wants prop bets banned altogether in college sports, and he says that players are getting harassed. I actually could see that potentially happening. The question is whether or not it's happening more now that it's legalized than it would have been, in the past, because there was illegal books and offshore books and so on in the past. But, he's indicating that there are players that, the prop is over 3.5 attempted threes, and they're yelling at him that, why isn't he taking more threes or whatever, and the players are being harassed over stuff like this. Could you see a scenario like that? Could they remove the props in the college game?
Yeah, and look, my first reaction is that we don't want that. You probably should just say no prop betting in college sports, or definitely within the state. And like my state of Virginia and most states, New Jersey, others that have had it longer, you can't bet on in-state schools, right? But my argument against that has still been it's going to happen. All the offshore Costa Rican sports books have been around for 30 years. All the illegal bookies are still there taking bets on UVA and Virginia Tech here. So why not at least have it transparent? I guess the counter to that, and I do somewhat agree with this, is that less people are betting illegally, right? So when you make it legal on FanDuel or DraftKings, then 10 to 100 times more people at the games can easily bet on their phones. So I do think there's something to that. But just in general, banning and not regulating things and just prohibiting them does not work well. We can look throughout history. I mean, prohibition, so many different examples in that case. And look, it's not the first time players are going to get yelled at by fans, right? It happens in all the road games.
Yeah, and then finally we only got a minute or so here, but, I'm curious as to what the numbers are saying with the legalized sports betting now in 30 states. I wonder how many more people are betting, because I wonder if just because it becomes legal, if it's the same population that was betting before and then now they're betting through legal sports books, or if new people are betting. Like I asked Grizz, I said, do you ever bet on sports? He says, no, I don't bet on sports. I said, if it becomes, or when it becomes legal in the state of Alabama, are you automatically going to start betting? He says, no, I still wouldn't bet on sports. I wonder how many people are like that. I wonder if people are like, oh, hey, it's legal, so now I'm going to do it. Or if it's the same group of people who were betting before are just betting now with the legal books.
Yeah, first of all, I'm calling BS on that. Grizz will be betting on sports when it's legal in Alabama, and there's no doubt.
Well, yeah, I'll be calling you. So when that happens,
yeah,
so
exactly.
just go ahead.
Some inside info. He's a smart man. He wants.
Now
to
he goes in the stock market though. He's got money in the stock market. So what's the difference?
That's
You're investing in the stock market. You invest with Steve Merril. I mean, come on.
The odds just went from minus 150 to minus 1,500 now that we got that information. But no, the reason I say it, Tom, is because I've been in Virginia now for the last 3 years. We've had legalized sports betting, and I've seen left and right people that never bet on sports, had no interest in having illegal accounts bet now. And I'd say it's a 10-to-1 ratio. So there's no doubt in my mind that's what's happening. And that's why I said, maybe not allowing the player props or the in-state school betting does make sense, because a lot of people are betting legally that wouldn't be betting otherwise. So it does at least keep them from shouting at a college kid to shoot another three.
Steve Merrill's been our guest. Steve, how do they get, if they want to become a client of yours and get your picks, they can do that through WagerTalk TV now, or the WagerTalk site?
Yeah, so go to WagerTalk.com, Steve Merril. You find me on the homepage, and I keep bearing the lead. I forgot to mention this in my video till the end as well. I've got a free Sweet 16 contest on WagerTalk.com right now. All 16 sides and totals. If you get 11 or more right, you win free best bets from myself up to a full year, a $2,000 value for free. You got to enter before the first game tonight. It's on the deals tab on WagerTalk.com. You can also find it directly on my homepage, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, free contest.
No, we want your opinion first. I mean, then we'll go ahead and make the picks.
I'm going to go ahead and write that down.
We're going to say, write that down, Grizz. You can get free advice.
You can watch the video and get my 8 sides and totals for the night. You're halfway there for that free contest.
There you go. Steve Merrill's been our guest. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to break in here. We will come back, wrap up hour number 1, set you up for hour number 2. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out, or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Orthopedics. You're thinking bones, muscles, and joints, right? Well, what else comes to mind? Maybe your spine, therapy, or an arm cast? What about sports medicine? What do you think about when you hear that? Are you thinking about the largest orthopedic group in the state, caring for the most student athletes in North Alabama? Or about the fact that they are teamed up with the state's largest hospital-based sports medicine program to provide care to more schools in North Alabama than any other group? If you are, you have TOC Sports and Huntsville Hospital Sports Center on the brain. If you're not, you should, because Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports have partnered for more than 2 decades to establish a state-of-the-art team of certified athletic trainers and orthopedic specialists who successfully continue to meet and exceed the sports medicine needs of schools, athletes, coaches, and parents in our community. Committing to kids, committing to community, committing to care. That's Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports.
I'm here today with Dr. Tracy Lowry of Veracity Vein Center. Now, how does someone suspect they have vein issues?
The most common symptoms associated with vein issues include leg heaviness, aching, and swelling, with some patients having visible veins as well. Vein issues can be easily diagnosed using ultrasound, with treatments performed as an outpatient using the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Both men and women have vein issues, though men may be more likely to ignore their symptoms when they're playing golf or walking the stadium steps. They too will benefit from correction of their vein problem. Patients can contact our clinics in Huntsville and new clinics in Madison and Coleman at 256-715-7151 or visit us at veracityweincenter.com.
Veracity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
No payments for 90 days on 23 and 24 models. Financing as low as 0% and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 47 years in a row. Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's Truck Month. The best deals on F-150, Explorer, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and Escape. During Truck Month, get financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150 Crew Cabs, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends 4/2/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have over 40 Bronco Sports and nearly 50 Explorers and about a dozen full-size Broncos, all with great sales incentives and no payment for 90 days. Truck Month only happens once a year. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Oh, Maria, Maria. She remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem.
All right, Chris, I don't know this one. What do you got? That's Santana? Oh, he's okay. Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. All Mexican music today. A little salsa sound for you. Since we are at Corralejos Mexican restaurant, as predicted, Junkyard Babe went with the shrimp quesadilla. Captain Cool has got some sort of, he's got the chicken quesadilla with a side of rice, and then he put the rice inside the quesadilla. Very nice move by him there to make that happen. TOC is the orthopedic specialist that pretty much every high school in the region uses. Alabama A&M and Huntsville Havoc also rely on TOC as well. But whether it's been a sports injury or a work accident or maybe you're just breaking down, TOC has the perfect specialist for you. North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider is TOC Sports. Stay in the game with TOC Sports. All right, coming up here at the top of the hour, Kevin McAplin is going to join us from the Braves Radio Network. It is opening day. 13 games being played today. Everybody except for the Braves and the Phillies and the Mutts and the Brewers are playing today. Those games were already they were actually postponed yesterday. But everybody else is playing, so we thought we'd get Kevin McAplin in here, and we'll talk a little Braves baseball as they get ready for their 162, which they'll win 100 of them at least, in my opinion. We'll be back with that right after this. It's the Tom Abraham Show, live at Corralejos on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm Christine Lisi. Happy opening day, Major League Baseball, Part 2. 13 games on the way today. Slugger Juan Soto makes his Yankees debut against the Astros, 4:10 Eastern on ESPN+. Soto plus 550 to hit a home run per ESPN bet. Tonight, defending World Series champion Rangers welcome the Cubs, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio, 7:30 Eastern ESPN. Sweet 16 tips off tonight. Top overall men's seed Connecticut versus San Diego State in a rematch of last year's national title game. Another 1 seed North Carolina faces off against Alabama. SMU's targeting USC's Andy Enfield as its next basketball coach. LeBron James, dealing with lingering left ankle soreness, says he'll prioritize his health over the Lakers' playoff seeding over the final 9 games of the NBA's regular season. LA currently 9th in the Western Conference.
From the WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Orthopedics. You're thinking bones, muscles, and joints, right? Well, what else comes to mind? Maybe your spine, therapy, or an arm cast? What about sports medicine? What do you think about when you hear that? Are you thinking about the largest orthopedic group in the state, caring for the most student athletes in North Alabama? Or about the fact that they are teamed up with the state's largest hospital-based sports medicine program to provide care to more schools in North Alabama than any other group? If you are, you have TOC Sports and Huntsville Hospital Sports Center on the brain. If you're not, you should, because Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports have partnered for more than 2 decades to establish a state-of-the-art team of certified athletic trainers and orthopedic specialists who successfully continue to meet and exceed the sports medicine needs of schools, athletes, coaches, and parents in our community. Committing to kids, committing to community, committing to care. That's Huntsville Hospital Sports Center and TOC Sports.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by the fine folks at North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you are listening in Alabama, Tennessee, or Florida, North Alabama Mortgage has you covered. And see, we're just going to bring it to you all the time. We're just bringing you Mexican music all the time since we are here at Coralejo's Mexican Grill. Grizz has got so many songs loaded up. He's just like, I'm just going to play them the whole show. I'm just going to just drop them right on top of Tom. Those mortgage rates are coming down, so this is the time to go ahead and pull the trigger, and they will come down more as well, but you can always refinance then, and average home equity is at an all-time high now, so if you're thinking about doing a home equity loan, this is the time to do it. Pull some of that high equity out of your home, and then you can go ahead and refinance later to lower your rate even more. It's North Alabama Mortgage. They'll help you out with it. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. All right, I would love to tell you that immediately following the show, we'll have Braves baseball, but we won't. We will tomorrow, however, as they'll get things started in Philadelphia. But
since Kevin McAplin had this unplanned day off, I figured I would harass him and grab him and do a little Braves preview with him as the season gets set to start. And Kevin joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He, of course, of the Braves Radio Network. Kevin, welcome back. How are you, man? Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. I wish we were talking about Game 1, but I guess we have to wait 24 more hours. So my winter vacation extends one more day. But I can tell you, just like the players, we're all ready to get going and looking forward to tomorrow afternoon.
As a professional in this business, I was kind of wishing that we were waiting till Monday. I've been saying this all along. It's like, does anybody in baseball know that the Sweet 16 starts today? And, you're going to kind of be buried below the fold for the next 4 days because of the Sweet 16. I just as soon you start Monday, you have all week to yourself, basically, because then the Final Four isn't until the following weekend, and baseball could be front and center all week long. And that's not the case. And the other thing that surprised me, Kevin, was when I went to the ESPN lineup, let's see all the games. It'll be today. And there's one game, and it's tonight. I mean, it's what happened to, 4 games on ESPN on opening day in the glorious, daytime baseball. I don't know what happened.
That's what surprised me. We were looking at this, I think it was last week, and we were trying to figure out, well, the Braves have to be on a national network somewhere.
Sure.
It's the top 2 teams in the East. It's Spencer Strider and Zach Wheeler, number 4 and number 6 in the Cy Young voting a year ago. And I'm like, wow, nobody nationally picked that one up. Now, I'm sure they'll get plenty of national exposure throughout the course of the year. And who knows, maybe they do get one now that they got, pushed back to tomorrow. But yeah, I was a little surprised. You're going to have to get the app or find other ways to stream some of those games if you do want to sit down. I thought for baseball, it'd be great to have, 3 or 4 games in a row, sort of like that first Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament, when you just have game after game after game. That would be a fun way to kick off the season. Maybe one of these years they'll figure out how to get.
Well, we've had that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where ESPN would have, we're bringing you 4 games starting at noon, and then they all the way to the late night game, and there'd be game after game after game, and I guess from a national standpoint, that's kind of the issue now. I think in baseball people are really dialed into their teams or their couple of teams. For me, it's the Yankees and the Braves. Those 2 teams. I try to watch as many of those games as possible. Am I really interested in watching the Cubs play the Rangers? Probably not. You know what I mean? So I guess it has become pretty much all about your team now. Luckily, people who follow the Braves are following a great team who has won, now 6 straight NL East titles and 1 World Series in the middle of that. We don't want to have a repeat, though, of the 90s, right? We're not going to go 12 or 14 straight, NL East titles with only 1 World Series win. There's got to be another one coming here pretty soon.
Yeah, no question about it. And they're certainly set up to be in that position for a long time to come, right? When you look at this core and the job that Alex Anthopoulos has done putting together a team that can win now, next year, and for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, when you talk about these long-term deals and these guys that don't look like they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. So we do also know that the window of opportunity can slam shut very quickly. That's why it is important for them to get over that hump again this year, to get back into the Fall Classic, to give themselves a chance to win, because nothing's guaranteed, right? You can put together the best team in the world, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to stay healthy all year. You're going to have things go your way. Look, when you play 162, you've got to be a really darn good team to win a World Series. But you've got to have a little bit of luck on your side as well. I think that's, at the end of the day, I mean, I think you look at some of the teams that have gotten there, over the years, and you think, well, they didn't necessarily have the best regular season. See the 2021 Braves, but they got hot at the right time. So you've got to be good. You've got to stay healthy, but you also have to have a little bit of, catch a little breaks here and there for that to go your way. But yeah, I'm with you, man. We don't want to be sitting back talking about this Braves run, winning 1 World Series and doing it relatively early in their run. Hopefully multiple rings for multiple years we wouldn't have to even think about entertaining that kind of conversation.
Yeah, you don't even have to go all the way back to the 2021 Braves. You can go back to last year with the Texas Rangers, and it's almost becoming bad luck to win 100 games. And I sit there and I go, in my mind, I think about this. We haven't had a team that was real dominant like that, and I don't even count 2020. That was a tournament. We haven't had a team that was real dominant and then went on to win. Even the Yanks had a couple of 100-win seasons in there that they did not win the World Series. We see what the Phillies, have done to the Braves the last 2 years, knocking them out. and while they were several games back in the NL East and then knocking them out of the playoff. And I sit there and I honestly try to balance in my brain, do I want 6 months of really good baseball, 100, 102, 103 wins, you win in 2 out of every 3 games that you play, versus 3 weeks of hot play to win the World Series, to win the 11 games or whatever it is that you need to win the World Series. And there is a part of me that says, you know what, give me the 100 wins. I don't want to watch an 84-win team all season long. And yeah, to get hot, that's wonderful. But I don't know if I want to watch that kind of baseball for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, too. And, I know there was some detractors that'll look back to last season, Tom, and say, yeah, well, they won 104 games. And, yeah, well, they hit 307 homers and tied a major league record. And look at what Ronald did with the 40-70 and just all the special accomplishments his team had last year. Spencer Strider breaking his own personal record of the quickest to 200 strikeouts in Major League history. And there's some people who are going to say, yeah, but who cares? They didn't win the World Series. I'm not really going to live in that world. I think every season when you have those kinds of milestones, yeah, you can be disappointed you didn't win the World Series. But for me, that doesn't take away from how many special things happened to this team. It's been a fun run. It's been a great 6 years with this team. Hopefully that goes a lot longer into the future. But I'm with you, man. I want to turn on my team every single night and know that they've got a chance to win. I think Brian Snitker says it best. When they started this run, they would go to the ballpark hoping to win. They go to the ballpark, Tom, every single night expecting to win. That is the mindset. That's the mantra. And right now, coming out of spring training, it was World Series or bust. You have seen a very focused bunch. There's 30 teams that'll say, yeah, we're World Series or bust this year. But let's be honest, there's like 6 that realistically believe it. There's a lot of false bravado that goes around. It's not false bravado in that Braves clubhouse. They certainly understand the mission at hand. And I think Snit said it when he addressed the team to start spring training. Look, I've had to answer a lot of questions about us, not attaining our ultimate goal last year, but I love answering those kind of questions because it means the expectations are so high for this organization. And that's a good place to be when you start thinking about where they were 2014, 15, 16. It really has come a heck of a long way.
And right on cue. I sit there and I think about the regular season and the playoffs. I almost view it like the season and then there's a tournament. You know what I mean? It's like there's this season. It's like 2 separate entities now. Because it used to be if you won 104 games, you were in the the league championship series. Before that, you would be in the World Series. But at least you were in the league championship. You didn't have to go through several layers of playoff to get there. It's almost like there's the tournament. Okay, that's fine. Oh, by the way, I was watching football then anyway. But it's like the regular season is such a thing because it's every night for 6 months, and I could deal with that for sure. And I want my team to be good. Kevin McAplin with us here. This team is going to be very good. We know they return, of course, so many great players, including the reigning MVP, Ronald Acuna Jr., but you could say that especially with Juan Soto over in the American League now, you could say possibly that the biggest competition for MVP, forget about Shohei Ohtani, a DH, being an MVP, it might be the third baseman Austin Riley. I mean, that might be the biggest competition that Ronald Acuna has this upcoming year because it seems like that's the next progression for Riley.
Really does. Look, he has put his game together. I think you go back the last, four-ish years, let's say 5 years, I think a lot of folks felt like, yeah, Austin's a power hitter, but what kind of defensive third baseman is he? He's gotten better and better and better every single year. It's funny, Tom, I talked to him last year, I believe it was April or May, and I was asking him, boy, how much more fun are you having knowing that you you don't have to run to right field into that shift all the time? Remember, every time there was 2 strikes on a batter, he's going from third base to shallow right field. This number blew me away. He said they tracked it. He ran over 45 miles throughout the course of a season in and out of the shift, back and forth, and his defense got better and better. But knowing he just can stay on the left side of the infield, doesn't have to worry about any of that other nonsense, I think people are starting to understand he's a really good defensive third baseman as well. He's not just a big power hitter. He's cut down on the strikeouts. He puts the ball in play. He goes to all fields. And, look, is he Nolan Arenado out there? No. Is he maybe the second best option at third base in baseball? I would say probably yeah. And what's funny is you mentioned him being the biggest competition to Ronald Acuna for the MVP in the National League. How about his teammate, Matt Olson, a year ago?
That's true.
4 homers, 130 ribbies, didn't have a chance to win the MVP. I mean, I was joking this offseason. He picked the wrong year to go 50 and 130. Hey, if he does that again, he's probably right there in the conversation. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think this is the year people really start to understand what a complete player a guy like Austin Riley really is.
From the lineup standpoint, the only spot maybe where there's any question, maybe a little bit left field. Adam Duvall, making his annual trek back to the Braves. He likes to leave and come back and leave and come back. Now he's back again, this time from Boston. He's 35 years old. Looks like he'll probably be platooning in left field. But talk to me about Duvall in left field and what we can expect, over there out of Kelenic and Adam Duvall.
Well, I know fans are going to look at Jared Kelenic's numbers from spring training and go, ugh, that was not great. No. But at the same time, I think you have to understand what was going on over that 6 weeks down there in Northport. If you look at his stance now and look at video of him from a year ago, the Braves have really changed his hand positioning from really up behind his left ear to down, almost like they did with Ronald Acuna, where they're down almost at the letters level in front of him as he gets ready to load for a pitch. He hit the ball hard. He hit the ball really hard during spring training, and he didn't have a whole lot to show for it, especially over the final 7 to 10 games. But I think there was a lot of optimism that, that new stance, getting more comfortable with it, he's really starting to feel like that's going to make improvements into his game. I think just trying to cut down on his swing and miss. There is swing and miss in his game, there's no doubt about it, but I think they feel like some of the things they've done with the hand positioning, with Ronald, with Austin Riley, and others historically has really paid dividends, and I think they feel the same about a guy like Kelenic. You'll see him most nights against righty. If there's a tough lefty on the mound, you'll get Adam Duvall in there. And if there's one guy who likes to swing the stick at Truist Park, it's Adam Duvall. 145 career games in the Braves' home ballpark, 30 homers, 80 RBI, and that's not counting what he did in the postseason a few years ago, including that big grand slam into the chop house in right field. So I do think nights when there's a tough lefty, probably Sunday in Philadelphia when Ranger Suarez is on the mound, you'll see Adam Duvall in there. But that's really the only change. 1 through 9, your lineup's going to be pretty much set on a daily basis, and Kelenic really taking over the role, batting at the bottom of the order that Michael Harris has been so successful in. He moves up to the 6th spot. You'll see Kelenic hit 9th, and what protection he's going to have with Ronald Acuna lurking behind him. So I do think his numbers will take off, just given he's got some pretty darn good protection behind him in the order.
Yeah, and historically you want to have power in the corners, corner outfielders, and but this team has so much power everywhere else. It's getting it, of course, it's getting it from the corner infielders for sure. It's getting it from behind the plate. It's getting it from Acuna. So I mean, there's plenty of power out there. It's not like they need Kelenic to be a 30 home run guy, right? I mean, he's a great defensive player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think that's probably the message that some veterans or maybe the hitting coaches told him this spring. Look, we need you to play left field. Let this lineup do the heavy lifting. You come in here and hit 15 to 20 home runs. If you do more than that, we will be thrilled. But we do not need you to put a lot of pressure on yourself to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Get on base, get ahead of Ronald Acuna, and he'll chase you home. So I think that at the end of the day, you play your game, you play a solid left field, and more times than not, I think that guys that have hit 9th in this Braves order have really benefited from that protection, because you got to be careful with a guy like that. You don't want to put him on and know that Ronald, Ozzie, Riley, Olson are coming up right behind him. Again, I do think his numbers will take off. Maybe it takes him a little while. Maybe it's similar to what Matt Olson went through year one. You remember his numbers jumped from year 1 to year 2. I look for the same out of Sean Murphy as well this year. Another year more comfortable with his new team. I think his numbers really take off as well. And that's saying something, because that dude was an all-star last year too.
Kevin McAplin with us from the Braves Radio Network. Finally, though, it goes to starting pitching. And Max Fried, Spencer Strider, we're feeling good about those guys. Charlie Morton's an old dude, had some injury issues at the end of the season last year. Chris Sale, not an old dude, not a young dude at 34 years old, and obviously has not been what he was earlier in his career. Man, it would be great to see a big bounce back for him. And then there's Ronaldo Lopez, another guy that's had a hard time staying out there and getting his all of his starts in as well. So talk to me a little bit about the starting pitching and and how they'll deal with that throughout the season. Are there other guys out there, young guys in the program that we may see some?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I talked to Chipper Jones about it yesterday, as a matter of fact. Had him on my show locally here in Atlanta, and we were talking about that starting rotation. And he said this has a chance to be as good as what they had in the 90s with a couple of Cy Young contenders in Spencer Strider, in Max Fried. You add Chris Sale, who's healthy once again. He had a normal offseason. You want to talk about swing and miss from the left side. He has the best strikeout percentage in Major League Baseball history. So when you start looking at some of the numbers that you're going to run out there with power arms, and again, think about some of the bats they're going to see just this weekend, going left on Sunday with Sale going up against Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and Bryson Stott. You also have Charlie Morton, who has swing and miss capability with that curveball. Then you throw Reynaldo Lopez in there. I'm curious what his longevity looks like. I really thought he was going to be a bullpen piece for this team, but I think he is a great addition to the rotation, at least let's say for the first half of the season. That allows guys in the minors, and this is something else Chipper brought up. He said you have an all-star from a year ago in Bryce Elder at AAA. You've got your number one prospect in Hurston Waldrop, the pitcher out of Florida. He's at AAA. He's right around the corner. Alan Wyman, Darius Vine, Dylan Dodd, these are all guys we saw a year ago. And let's not forget, Huascar Inoa is coming back. Braves are really high on his upside coming back at some point being healthy. And Ian Anderson will be healthy at some point in the second half of the season. My point is that you have so much reinforcements at AAA. Your rotation is set so well. Look, these guys aren't all going to make 33 starts. We know guys are going to have to miss starts. Injuries are part of the game, but you feel really good about the depth they have in the minors as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see it, and I really think a guy like Chris Sale brings a little bit of that, that swagger, that edge to the rotation. I'm not saying they haven't had that in the past, but I do think, again, if he can stay healthy, he can make his starts. He can be a huge difference maker for this team, especially once that calendar flips to October.
Well, that's the key. I mean, is if he can make those starts. I mean, because this is a kid. I mean, and this is a guy, I covered back in the day at FGCU when I was in Southwest Florida, when I was on in Southwest Florida, and Chris Sale played down there at Florida Gulf Coast, and always liked him, but 2015, 16, 17, 30, 31, 32 starts, every year. And then now, 21 and 22 were pretty much washouts for him. And then 20, and then of course didn't play, opted out in 20. This guy's not pitched a lot lately. And last year he did make, did pitch 20 games last year, 6-5, kind of a fat ERA for him historically. But I don't know what the number is. If you told me right now that Chris Sale would start 28 games, I think they would be very, very happy with that and assume that he'll win, 14 or 15 of them.
Yeah, I do too. And look, I think what you're going to see early on, he gives you 5 good innings, you get him out of there. Your bullpen is so good as well. We haven't even talked about the pen, but I think if he gives you good innings early in the season, you hold some back for later on in the year. Who knows? Maybe you skip a start here and there to save some bullets for later on in the season. But I think a normal offseason, and when you start talking about the price of starting pitching, look what the Braves are paying him, or maybe I should say what they're not paying him over the next few years compared to other contracts around the game. It's a bargain, and I think that this could be really one of those very savvy Alex Anthopoulos moves we look back on, hopefully late October, early November, as we're riding down a float through Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta here. I do think that this is a big impact arm. And again, if he can stay healthy, if he makes 28 starts, I think we'll all be very, very happy with that.
Is this closing back committee, by the way, or is this, what are we looking at from that bullpen?
Well, I think it's probably Iglesias' job to start, but you've got other options down there, right? You've got Joe Jimenez, who threw the ball well down the stretch. Pierce Johnson has been a nice addition. A.J. Minter as well has closing experience. You've got 4 or 5 guys you can rely on down there. And think about this. If Lopez moves from the rotation to the pen, he's another option you can put out there. You've got Aaron Bummer from the left side you bring in this offseason. So, yeah, there's a number of different ways it could go. And like Brian Snitker always says, hopefully we have to have a few different guys out there because we have a lot of opportunities for those guys. So if Iggy goes 2 out of 3 days and needs a breather, you feel pretty good about who else you could give the ball to in the ninth because a lot of those guys have been there and done that.
Every Braves broadcast starts with Kevin McAplin, and you'll be hearing him all season long right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And, Kevin, I appreciate you. As always, we've been talking for years now, all the way going back to your days with the Phillies. And it's great, be able to catch up with you and kind of preview this season.
Tom, can you believe this is my 13th year in Atlanta already? Like,
No.
where has the time gone?
No, that's impossible.
Yeah.
What do you mean 13th year in Atlanta? What year is that?
Yeah.
When did...
I got down here in 2012. Can you believe it? My 13th season with Braves Radio. Time is flying.
Well, I guess that does make sense because I used to have you on 07, 08, 09, back when I was in Nashville in the early years, and yeah, you were the Phillies guy back then. So that makes holy mackerels. It didn't make sense to me because if you say that means when I first went to Nashville it was 18 years ago, and that doesn't compute for me. But anyway, I guess that's what it was. All right, man. Time is flying by, that's for sure. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll look forward to catching up with you throughout the season from time to time.
Sounds good, Tom. Thanks for having me, bud. Good chatting with you.
I'm rattled, Grace. He said 13 years he's been with the Braves. He's my Phillies guy. I still think of him as my Phillies guy.
He's one of the best, man. The morning updates, everything he does for the Braves radio network. I've listened to him for a while. I feel like I've listened to him his entire career. Listening to the Braves radio network for
how many years ago was 07? Is that what is this, 04 or 24?
24, so 17.
17 years ago? That's when I went to Nashville? 17 years ago? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he was my Phillies guy, and then when he came to Atlanta, I was like, how's this going to work?
He's basically like Roger Hoover. Roger Hoover's Tennessee guy. Going for the rival, working for the rival for so many years, man. I
couldn't do it. What he's doing, I mean, because I ask him every once in a while. He loves the Braves.
Yeah.
He loves the Braves, but he grew up with the Phillies.
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up in Philadelphia.
Yeah, my buddy could never do that.
As a Philly guy, and he, I'm going to tell you something. I turned down an interview in Boston, because I couldn't talk Red Sox. I'm like, there's no way I'm talking Red Sox. I wouldn't even interview.
Yeah.
And then this was back when I had an agent. And I turned down an interview in Pittsburgh. And I said, there is no way in hell I'm going to Pittsburgh and talking Steeler football day in and day out. Because if you're in Pittsburgh, it's Steelers, anybody else, and then Steelers. And then if you're in Boston, I don't care about what the Patriots are doing because I got buddies that work up there. I don't care what the Bruins are doing or the Celtics. I mean, the topic there is Red Sox, Patriots, Red Sox, Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox. I mean, that's it. And I was not going to talk about the Red Sox.
You couldn't pay me to say something nice about the Mets.
Can you imagine working at a Mets affiliate?
No.
In your case? Or
No.
Phillies?
No. I could handle Nationals and Marlins, but not.
Yeah, because they suck most of the time.
Well, but I don't despise those teams though. Like I've always liked, watching a Marlins game or a Nationals game just because those are like those teams that, I don't hate.
The pro team that I love the most of all my pro teams that I love, which are, for those of you that just dropped into the show right now, Browns, Bruins, Yankees, Knicks. Okay, so those are my pro teams. The pro team that I love the most, without question, is the Browns. It's not even a close second to say the Yankees, and I really love the Yankees. But the Browns is by far the team that I love the most. And I hate the Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals. The three teams in their division, I cannot stand them. I cannot stand those teams. And as far as the Yankees go, I had a son that was a pretty good baseball player, and he had gotten a look and had some some tryouts at some of these major league camp type things and stuff like that. And he once joked with me. He said, "What happened? What would you do if I got drafted by the Red Sox? And what would you do if the Yankees were playing the Red Sox and I left a pair of tickets for you and Mom to come and see me play against the Yankees?" And I played for the Red Sox. And I left you my a jersey, number 7, Abraham Red Sox jersey, and a cap. I said, "I will come to the game. I will not wear your Red Sox jersey. I will not wear your Red Sox hat. And I will hope that you go 4 for 4 and that the Yankees beat you 7-5. I'm not wearing your gear. I'm not doing it. And I don't know how people have done it, within the state. There have been numerous times where somebody went to Alabama or Auburn and their child went to the rival, and they were all in. I mean, it was just they were all in. I think that was the case. I think with the Brits, right? They had 3 Brit boys that all played at Alabama. They were an Auburn family. And then they're wearing. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. All right, we got a break. I know it sounds terrible. Couldn't do it. All right, finally, we can get to the phone lines. All right, haven't taken a call yet. We can get to the phone lines now. You want to jump in? This is a good time to jump in. We'll come back with your calls next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Beginning Friday morning, get $50 worth of delicious food from Coralejos Mexican Grill for just $25 with our zone deal at 977ESPN.com. Coupons good for food purchase only.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Baseball's back, baby. Olsen drills one deep right. You in trouble now. Way out of here.
Swung on, lifted high and deep to left center field. Go ball. Back to the wall. Jokes. That ball is gone. Home run, Ozzie.
Strider brings it. Got him swinging. Strike 3. Number 13 in the book for Spencer Strider. Ronald Acuna drives one to deep center field. Deepest part of the yard. Way out of the ballpark. My goodness. Hit the batter's eye. That is some King Kong stuff from Ronald Acuna. High fly ball to deep center field. Back to the wall. Cold-blooded. Michael Harris.
Swung on, belted. Deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball all season long, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Not a bad afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're looking at plenty of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the mid. Some of us could see the upper 60s. We're dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine on Friday afternoon. Temperatures consistently climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're going to continue the trend of beautiful weather as we head into Saturday. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s. A partly sunny sky for your Easter Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN.
Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. You don't get me some smooth from Carlos Santana before this show is over. I'm going to reach through this little window, grab you by the short hairs on the back of your neck. Grizz playing Mexican music today on our Throwback Thursday since we are here at Corraleos, the finest Mexican restaurant anywhere. I'd say anywhere in the Tennessee Valley. For me, it's anywhere. I mean, anywhere, because I've never had better Mexican food than I get here at Corraleos. And remember, tomorrow morning, you can get your $50 voucher to Corraleos for just $25. So get ready for that on Zone Deals. They will go quick for sure. The segment of the show is brought to you by the service team at Woody Anderson Ford. Not only experts in the service of Ford and other makes, but also using genuine Ford and Motorcraft parts on every Ford service job, from tire rotations, wheel alignments, brake jobs, oil changes, engine tune-ups, training work. They do it all at the service department and the Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center. That's Woody Anderson Ford. That is where Bobby White, the general manager over there, starts his day in the service department each and every day because he knows that it is so important. All right, get to the phone calls here and the text window where the unknown texter said, based on our conversation about the sports gambling, he said, last Saturday morning on a radio show that Mel Kiper is on, he said that years ago sports did all they could to stay a million miles away from gambling. Now sports has completely embraced gambling. He said this about scandals. Anyone who doesn't see what is about to happen is stupid. That's what he said, to which I responded, it was happening in the dark before. Now they can catch them. I just don't like the kids getting harassed, as far as prop betting. He said, spin it every way you want, dream on any way you want. I'm not a fool. If you don't think this stuff was happening for years and years, you're naive. I mean, I'm just telling you that right now. I have been around sports betting my entire life. And when I tell you my entire life, I'm talking about like since the first time I could talk, okay? I have been around this stuff my entire life. My family was involved in this stuff way back in the day in New York, okay? I've been around it my whole life. There was always nefarious stuff going on. There was always stuff that you had to worry about. You'd handicap the games, and then you'd wonder what was clean and what wasn't clean. There were scandals that happened. You remember the Boston College scandal 40 years ago. There were scandals that happened going all the way back to the Black Sox years and years ago. There were all kinds of scandals that had happened over the years. But I'm just telling you right now, it really is better now in as much as that it is regulated, it is out in the open, and they've got teams of people now keeping an eye on all of this stuff. And when something looks weird, it's not somebody sending somebody to break somebody's leg. Now it is a sanction, and they can deal with it immediately. But don't be naive. Don't think that it is not, an issue. All right, to the lines we go. A guy that has been known to throw a few shekels on a game once in a while or a future is Keith, the Michigan fan. He's up next. Keith, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing all right, big dog. Hey, even the movie The Natural, it was gambling and under the table schemes.
You could say it was more rampant even back then. In a way, to be honest with you, it really, there was a time when it was very, very rampant in sports, including baseball. Baseball was kind of like the leader of the pack in that stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't around when the Black Sox, threw the World Series, but hey,
allegedly,
it's been gambling for a long time.
Yeah, allegedly. Remember, they kept Shoeless Joe Jackson. They've kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he was a part of that Black Sox team. The guy could not write his name. He would just sign things that with an X. He didn't make any money off of it, and he hit like 342 in that World Series. He had a phenomenal World Series. I don't know what that guy was throwing. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, talking about Alabama legalizing gambling, it would save me a trip to Tunica because I went up there first of the month and I put a little money on the Detroit Tigers. I like my team as underdog, and that way, if I win, hey, I'm really happy. The odds are much, much better, and that's just the way it is. But
now, do you do anything with offshore books or any other books? As far as game to game, you just do the futures. Yeah,
I do not trust putting my credit card online to pay to gamble. No, I can't do that. I have to be sitting right there, where I can see what's going on.
Okay,
like
so
I like playing poker.
If it became legal in Alabama, would you then tend to throw a little bit of money on a game, on a nightly basis?
Maybe not every day, but
not every day.
Yeah, but yes, I most definitely would.
Okay.
And as soon as they vote on it and it passes, they're gonna throw up Ragley casinos, and you're gonna have everybody same as they did in Mississippi. Yeah. When I first started going over there back in the 90s. They had what they call boats. The casino was supposed to be on the river, and it was no river nowhere. They dug trenches and made little water come in from the river so they can say it's on the river.
Tunica is the first time I went to Tunica. I was over there to do a game, and in Mississippi, it was in the Mississippi Kings or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I was doing a game in Mississippi there, and we stayed at Tunica. The team stayed at Tunica, and I said, I don't understand. Now, this is 20 years ago, 18, 20 years ago. And I'm like, I don't understand how is this legal? They have a casino here, and they said, well, we're on the river. I said, what river? They said, we're on the Mississippi River. I said, what are you talking about? And the guy took me outside, and he showed me this moat, basically, that was and there was, you walked across, you didn't even know that you were literally on something that was supposedly floating, and it was, technically on the river, and that's what that's why you could do it, because the river was international waterway.
Yeah, that's when Grand Casino was there. They had great suites, I
may have
used to
been the
go
one.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yep, but now all their hotels are empty. The Grand is gone. The buildings are still there, and it's like, what a waste. All that, all that resources, and it's just sitting there. But anyway, I just had to call and let you know.
All right, appreciate you.
I got to. As soon as the summer hits, though, I got to go bet on my Michigan Wolverines to win it all again.
Oh, be careful now. You better see what they look like with the new coach. Maybe bet on them to win the Big Ten championship or something, or maybe bet on them to win. Go down over or under at 10.5 games or something like that.
Well, I do not bet what I cannot afford to lose.
There you go. Well, that's a smart way to do it. Appreciate you. By the way, the Braves opened as the World Series favorite right after the World Series this past year. They were at 7-1. They were the favorite at 7-1. They're now the second favorite at 5-1. The Dodgers opened up as the second favorite after the World Series at 8-1 before they got Ohtani, and now they are the favorite at 3-1. Johnny is on a cell phone. Johnny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Big Dog. So, the opening week of the tournament, we talked about, where the SEC would go, what they did, what they didn't do. And now we're down to just, the Bama and yeah. And, and I really think that, Alabama found right before the guards got hurt, Griffin and Reitzel, they were playing a decent brand of basketball. I think they were, they weren't like top 40 defense, but they were probably top 60, 65 defense. And then, those dudes get hurt, and then they have the losing streak. Wide. But I seem to think that they found some of their defensive, grit. And, and if Reitzel, to me, the key to beating North Carolina is Reitzel and Griffin. If those guys give Sears a running, some running mates here, and Sears has his usual game, and those guys hit it from outside, North Carolina could be in for a long day.
Well, my question is,
shots, you can beat them.
Absolutely. I mean, if they have a great shooting day and they have options, and Weitzel's out there, popping his threes, and then Mark Sears. My question is, and I guess this is going to be what we'll learn more about tonight, is did we see a great defensive effort by the Tide against Grand Canyon, or did we see a Grand Canyon team that was not very good offensively? They were like 78th or 79th in the country, offensively. So that was not a great offense, and it was kind of a one-man band. You know what I mean? They had the one guy that was doing all the damage, and that was it. So we will see.
But the same. Well, they had, and in the opening round, they basically, when they were up 31, until they were playing a good brand of defense for that too. So I looked at it as positive that they really took their foot off the gas, obviously, in the opening round, in the opening game, and that allowed to get made it look closer than it was. So I think, like I said, if they're hitting their shots and they go into if they get up to the mid-90s on North Carolina's not going to be happy about it.
No,
but,
not mid-90s. I think the key is going to be, I think, if you can keep this game in the 80s, if you can keep Carolina in the 80s, I think Alabama's an excellent shot to win the game. If Carolina's got 89, 90, because they play pretty good defense, So if they get to 90, it's going to be tough.
Zone bracket, I'm number 10.
Wow.
And I have three guys.
Out of 20 million?
No. Not, I'm talking about
ours.
Zone.
Ours.
Okay.
168.
Yeah, our bracket. Yeah, 184 in our bracket. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 10, and I have three guys who have a higher quota of points that, if they bracket holds out, my bracket holds out.
Right.
But other than that, I've got a chance to get in. So Cherokee Ridge is a fabulous golf course, and that was the primary purpose for wanting to get in the bracket to begin with.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you ought to get in our tournament, which will be at Cherokee Ridge on May 13th to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and that'll be great as well. Johnny, I appreciate you. Thanks for the call.
Good.
All right, let me get Badger Larry in here. He's thrown a shekel or two down on a game once in a while, too. Badger Larry, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good, Tommy. How about yourself?
I am fantastic.
You got to be good at Corraleos.
I
hit the text line with some pictures. I was there Saturday night with my wife. Just happened to go in. We love the place. happened to go in. They had balloons around the door, and I said, "What's going on?" And they had music going in there, and then people singing and everything.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
their 1-year anniversary. And they hit us with free shots of tequila as soon as we sat down. They had free cake. They would give 20% off your ticket at the end. $20 pitchers of margaritas, $8 pitchers of beer. You couldn't. I had Natty Danny. He was cussing me because I was sending him pictures and telling him about.
You should have told your wife that you did all of that for her. That you said it. You called ahead to Corlejos and you said, "Hey, free shots on the house, for my wife." I figured that something was going on with the tequila because Lalo just left to the owner here. He just left to go get more tequila. So the fact that he had to go get tequila might mean that they ran out. They were giving away too much tequila last weekend.
Yeah, they brought the second round for us too.
Oh, there you go.
They gave us 2 rounds of shots.
Good stuff.
It was very nice, very nice. We had big time. When like I said, Natty Danny was all bent out of shape because he wasn't there. I think he might have been at the Havoc game or something. So he couldn't get there for the free stuff. So he is for free stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. Good stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So now one more question about your golf tournament.
Yeah.
When are you going to put a sheet out there? I need a
what do you
sign-up
need?
sheet because I've got a company that's looking to sponsor a team, but they got to have a sheet to turn in to get the payment and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, you're talking about
okay.
Sheet. Now, it's not a sign. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Well, it's something that has the information, and all that kind of stuff on there. Okay, I got that. That I got. I can send you that.
Okay.
Text me. Listen, hit the text window with your email address. Give me your email address in the text window, and I will email it to you. Yeah, there you go.
His email address is. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you hit the
I
text
have it for
window.
you.
Yeah, hit it with your just hit it me in the text window with it, and I'll turn it around and get it to you.
All right. So that'll work.
All right, appreciate you.
Looking forward to it.
LSU Lynch says that he's been playing golf since he was 10. By the time he was 14, he was playing for money with the locals. They would sponsor him to be on their team. Yeah, that's called being a ringer. And I'm bringing a ringer. I got a tournament coming up somewhere. Oh, the church tournament. Wait a minute. Can I bring a ringer to the church tournament? I was going to bring John to the church tournament. Is that wrong? Is there something wrong about bringing a ringer? I mean, he's like a son to me. I
don't know. Is the pastor playing against you?
The pastor's playing against us.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
Pastor's in
It's like
there.
the beginning of Beer Fest with the bowling game.
Can anybody win but the pastor at the church golf tournament? About that. Maybe I shouldn't bring the ringer. Maybe I'll save him. I'll save the ringer for the Buckhorn golf tournament. I'm going to bring a ringer. I brought that ringer last year, and we stunk. So maybe I need another ringer. I had 2 ringers on my team. All right, we get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Not a bad afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. We're looking at plenty of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the mid. Some of us could see the upper 60s. We're dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. Plenty of sunshine on Friday afternoon. Temperatures consistently climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're going to continue the trend of beautiful weather as we head into Saturday. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s. A partly sunny sky for your Easter Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm talking about right. Oh, yeah, baby. Ending with a flurry right there. Little Carlos Santana smooth here as we wrap things up at Corralejos. Finest Mexican restaurant anywhere around is Corralejos. I mean, this place here, absolutely tremendous. And remember, tomorrow morning, be ready to go, 8 o'clock. I mean, boom, it'll go live on Zone Deals. You get $50 voucher at Corralejos for just $25 there. Right over here, Old Monrovia Road and John's in the Publix Plaza. And always such great hosts, Lalo and his team. They're just a very, very friendly staff, and they do a tremendous job. So we really appreciate everything that they have done for us. It's going to be a busy day for us tonight. Of course, coming up later on, not only do we have Paul Feinbaum coming up and the drive, but later on it will be Alabama and UNC. That is the story of the night as far as we are concerned. Now, we will have action beginning at 6 o'clock in the NCAA tournament, and then we'll switch over at, I think, around 7 o'clock or so. We'll be switching over We'll be switching over for Alabama UNC at 6:30 or 7:30. We'll be switching over for that. We got Alabama baseball tonight. That is over on Talk Radio. WZZN. You'll hear that game starting at 6:55, Alabama and South Carolina over there. So got plenty to go going on here tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Very, very busy time. Great day, though, in sports between the Sweet 16 and Major League Baseball opening day. Just tremendous. That's going to do it for us today. Paul Feinbaum Show is next. I'm Thom Abraham. This is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
En el mundo en que yo vivo, siempre hay cuatro esquinas.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team,